guys, so in today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. As you can see, I have Sarah with me. That was so awkward. But today she's going to be dyeing my hair and we're going to answer some of your questions. But yeah, this is going to be like our first official collab. Oh my god. So Sarah's no longer lurking in the background.
I'm actually present.
She here. She exists. We're going to head in there and start dyeing my hair, and then hopefully I look less trash after we're done. So yeah. Let's yeet on over. Oh god, I'm gonna cut that.
Like
we really
fire.
look alike, wow.
Oh, whoa, that was... Wait.
Oh my god!
I think my eyes are bigger than yours. It's probably because my face is much fatter.
I didn't say this before, but if you guys didn't know, if you haven't watched any of the other videos, this is Sarah. Sarah's my twin sister. We're Momo twins, so we're like...
Special
extra
twins.
clones.
Extra
I don't know. So anyway, I just wanted to introduce Sarah. If you guys didn't know, that's her. We're going to be answering a lot of questions today that you guys sent in. Great questions. So I have them all written down. So we're going to answer them together. And I'm really excited. It's going to be about like university, about writing, about fostered, about being a twin, and so on. So
And we're going to do a trim and some
Yeah.
color.
one day we're going to have to do like a normal sit down video, but I thought this would be kind of fun. Okay, so question number 1 comes from Tumblr. It was from an anonymous asker. I don't know if they wanted me to put it in this video, but they didn't say if it was for the Q&A or not, so I'm going to put it in here. But Fostered has been the series I've been working on for the last 5 years in October, which is wild. I've written 6 books. I just finished the 6th one. I think that's crazy. But yeah, so the question, are you going to publish the Fostered series? No. Sarah and I actually talked about this a lot, like probably when I was in grade 8 or 9, because it was a bigger dilemma for me. The series, initially, I had really wanted to publish it. I had asked a lot of people, like, if it was actually possible to publish something when you'd already written the series. At the time, I started writing it in 2014, and dystopian was like a really big thing, but also a lot of literary agents were like, dystopian is dead. So that was kind of scary for me. So I used to like always like send asks to literary agents to be like, is the dystopian book, would anybody look at it? And basically the consensus at the time was like, not really, because like it's pretty dead. But I was really adamant to publish the series. But quickly I sort of realized that it wasn't really going to happen. So little 13-year-old me, 14-year-old me was a little bit disappointed, but I quickly got over it. It was a lot quicker than I got over I'm disappointed, I think. Not being able to publish I'm disappointed, because I realized that like I loved the story regardless, so it didn't really matter to me whether or not it was published, but that was definitely something I had really considered. Since you and Sarah are so close, in what ways do you feel you have influenced each other's writing?
Oh, well, for me, Rachel really, really changed the writing game for me.
Oh.
Like, completely. In 2016, 2017, she was writing book 4 of Fostered, and it took a bit, like, a darker turn, and there was more, like, heavier content, and, like, the content had very much veered away from how we were writing previously, and that same year, like, did you start it in the summer?
I started it, yeah, like, I think in July or
the
June.
Same summer, I started Wither, my second book, and that's where I really started being a bit more experimental with my writing style, and I was trying out a bunch of, like, now, like, retrospectively, admittedly cringy ideas that were,
Book
like,
4.
dark and edgy and
Book
cool.
4 and Wither are, like,
But
cringe.
honestly, I think I didn't do enough research, and a lot of it was just not good.
I feel that.
Book 4 really, really influenced...
I didn't
When
know
Rachel
that.
was like, oh, I want to change, like, I'm making a change, like, I don't know if I want to do this because it deals with heavier content, I was like, oh, well, let me make a change too, because that's kind of how we are as friends,
we're
is,
very, like,
we
push
do
and
the
pull. We
same
go with
thing.
each other, I guess.
And so sometimes it's bad, but in this case, if she didn't do that, or if I wasn't influenced by her, I would probably still be writing stuff that does not really interest me.
Oh my
And
God.
so...
That's so cute. You never told me that. For Sarah, since Sarah gave that beautiful answer.
Yeah.
Sarah was the reason why I started writing. Basically, she came up to me and she's like, I want to write a book. And we were in grade 7. And I was like, same. It was really helpful to have somebody affirm something that I wanted to do. Would you ever consider writing poetry? Also, have you gotten any more ideas for projects. And that was from an anonymous asker on Tumblr. So for the first question they asked, would you ever consider writing poetry? So Sarah and I both took a writing class, but we were taking a writing class called The Writer's Craft. I think like it's probably like every grade 12 class probably has it, but
yeah.
In that class we had a poetry unit, so I had never written poetry ever, really. Never. Like, because I'm not one of those writers who, like, knew I wanted to write since I was, like, really, really young. And I guess 12 is really young, but I hear, like, a lot of people say, like, 6, 8, like, 7, like, 2. Like, a lot of people know from, like, a really young age. And I was not one of those people. So, as a kid, I never wrote poetry or anything. I know a lot of people had their, like, angsty teenage years writing poetry. Yeah, I didn't really consider writing poetry when I was younger, nor did I this year. I just had to for this class, and I kind of liked it. Like, I'm not very good at poetry. My teacher was really nice about my poetry. She was like, you're a natural born poet. And I was like, sis, I don't know about that. Also, have you gotten any more ideas for a project? The answer is no. And I think that's for both of us, right?
I mean, I have an idea for short stories.
Yeah, so like for short stories, definitely, but I'm assuming they meant novels. But for novels, no. Like, literally, the Fostered series has consumed my life for the last 5 years, that all of my ideas go to that. And I also think that's because I'm not actively trying to think of ideas that aren't for Fostered. The next questions come from Josh on Tumblr. Okay, so his first question was, in what ways has your writing changed from when you first started writing to now? So I think, like, just objectively, like, obviously we can look at, like, the facts. Genre has definitely changed. I think both of us kind of wrote more dystopian, like, young adult dystopian. Yeah, when we were, because we started writing in 2014, so when we were 12. Now we primarily write for an adult audience, whereas right before we were writing for mainly a young adult audience. Also, like, description-wise, I think I'm much better at writing description. And obviously we're talking genre is different too now. Like, both of us, we write lit fic. So it went from dystopian to lit fic and then young adults to adults. So that's our niche, definitely. And then I think Sarah can say the same thing about her writing. Like, it's definitely gotten a lot more careful in general, and detail-oriented.
I feel like our writing eye has really,
definitely.
Really
in the last few years, like, just developing that eye.
It's really refined, so the way we can actually, like, see the world
the world is different.
Describe it is much, much different, and that makes everything a lot more unique and lush compared to when, you know, I would really struggle when I had to talk about, like, writing pain. Writing
definitely.
Anxiety. Like,
and show don't tell was very, like, I always thought I was showing, but I was actually telling.
Because you'd be like, you literally just say, like, the fear slams into me. Like, that's literally a line in my novel.
Yeah, that's still telling, and I didn't really get that distinction. So now I think I understand.
Being a bit more careful and looking at, and being more empathetic.
Definitely empathetic.
You know, or seeing how our characters interact with others and how they are kind of by themselves. So just being a bit more careful.
Carefulness is a big thing. And then obviously I think content-wise, we've gotten a little less, like, light. It's a lot darker. How old were you when you wrote your first book? So I was 12.
I was, like, 13.
The next question was, what are some general emotions you experience when writing?
Most of the time, honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm very, very frustrated.
Yeah, I won't lie either. Like, in all seriousness.
Most of the time, my writing days do not go well.
I also think it's sort of time period, too, because both of us are very stressed people. We're working really hard. Last year of high school, it's a lot of stuff is happening, right? So, hopefully, when my life is less stressful, I can enjoy writing a little bit more, perhaps. I hope.
Before I was diagnosed with OCD, it was bad. Like, writing was so slow. It took oh my god. And it still takes like a month to write a chapter. Yeah. But it was me working on it every day and barely getting anything done because I would keep going back and adding things to paragraphs that did not need anything else until I got to capacity almost. Like, that's how I used to write. And it was way, way, way too stressful. So, definitely has always not been the chillest of experiences, which is why I'm nervous for university. But when it goes well, I don't even think about anything because it just feels like I'm there.
Exactly. Like, when writing goes really well, it just feels natural. I don't feel, like, so happy. It just feels like everything is right. Like, when I'm not writing because I'm, like, in writer's block or, like, I don't have time to, or I'm very frustrated, or something's not working with the scene or something. My life does not feel right. And that's how I know that, like, even though writing's difficult for me, I know it's what I'm supposed to be doing right now because my life doesn't feel complete without it working. The next one's kind of fun, also from Josh. He asks, how old are your characters? This is wild because I've grown up with my characters. Like, that's why they're so special to me, because I haven't really written with anyone beyond them. Like, yeah, I have, but, like, most of my emotional connections comes with the main cast of Fostered. So, I guess I can answer this one first if you want, Sarah. So, yeah, in book 6, Reeve is 19. Harrison, I screwed up Harrison and Lonan's age so bad. I thought they were 3 years older than Reeve for, like, books 5 and 6. I'm dumb, honestly. I've been writing this for 5 years. You think I know? But originally they were only 2 years older, but I think I'm going to keep it at 3. So Harrison and Lona are 21, 22. Foster is 20, turning 21, I think. I don't know. Oh my god. This is giving me a crazy. He's a year older than Reeve. Yeah, he's a year older than Reeve. And then Darren is 23. Okay, this is how I think of it. Because I always know how old Reeve is. For sure, I know how old she is. I've written too many of these books to keep track. I don't know how people keep track of anything, honestly. Am I a bad writer? But Harrison and Lonan are 3 years older, or 2 years. I don't know, however you like that. I don't know with them. Should it be 2 or 3 years, Sarah? What's your opinion on that?
It's always just been 2.
It's always been 2 years.
Just do 2.
Okay, so even though I, like, totally messed up the mathematical calculations for multiple things because of that.
Oh my god, this is like a gold mine of gray hair.
Yes, y'all, we found my stress.
I know this is bad to do, but we don't care.
Yeah. Lonan and Harrison are always 2 years older than Reeve. Except for that one time I accidentally made a mistake and they were 3. Okay, it's fine. Foster is 1 year older than Reeve. Darren is 4 years older than Reeve. Does that help?
Honestly, I went through my book and timelined it in the summer.
Yeah.
And I actually realized that the entire series only spans 2 months.
Oh my god!
Technically, all of my characters are the same age as they were when I first started. But
you fool!
So, like, Nell would still be, like, 16. But technically, like, I've screwed it up where I'd say, like, this character's birthday has passed, but the year hasn't even gone up, and then they turn in, like, Nell is, she's currently 18.
Okay.
She should be honestly 19, and she's too young. Like, I really, really want to up her age just because of what I'm writing in her voice. I feel like she should be, like, in her 20s.
Sis, we can make changes.
I can, but I'm just kind of going with it right now because I don't really care too much because her voice would probably still stay the same, to be honest.
True.
Oliver, her brother, is, he's 22. He's basically 23. Like, he's turning 23. He just has a really late birthday. Roman, who is 23, and Min, who's also 23. And then I have a whole bunch of characters who are, like, 21. So Alice, Miles.
Sarah has a lot more characters than I do.
And then Shepard. I know Shepard and Hawthorne, they're, like, 19.
Are there any questions about being a twin that you get tired of being asked? Me and Sarah were just talking about this. Like, I feel like no.
I don't really get, like, annoyed. Do you feel each other's pain?
Yeah.
I'm just, like, I'm wondering if people... Like, it doesn't bother me. That question just always makes me laugh.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm like, do you... Like, I don't think anyone feels... Like, do you actually feel people's pain?
I don't know. Do other twins... What writing major are you both planning to go into? So, Sarah and I are going into, like, it's just a writing degree, but it's, like, a creative writing, basically. It's not journalism or anything. People ask that. Like, so journalism? I'm like, oh, no. So English? No. How did you choose the names for your characters? That's a cool question.
For Nell, my main character, Rachel had the name Nell on her name list.
I'll get to that when I'm explaining.
And so I snatched it because she made this list of names.
Wig.
And I used to do the same thing, but not as consistently. So I just snatched it off the list. Roman has a cool name.
Ooh.
That was a couple years ago. I really wanted... His brother has the... I don't really want to drag the name. If people like the name, it's fine. It does not work for my mom.
Oh.
So his name is Hawthorne.
Hawthorne.
And if you like it, that's great.
You know what? It could be the new I don't know.
And it's not an ugly name. It just does not work in, like, everyone else, like,
has
Oliver,
very
like,
chill, like,
everyone has a normal kind
top 1,000 baby name.
Yeah. And, like, Hawthorne just is a little out there.
Yeah.
So I wanted kind of a more uncommon name for him. So I was just kind of looking up
Thorny Man.
Slightly uncommon names for Roman. Oliver, Rachel had a character named Oliver. So the moral of the story is I really just took Rachel's name.
Yeah. Sarah plagiarized.
Yeah, she had a character named Oliver, and I'm disappointed. So I was like, "Oh, this name would work."
Is that really how you took it?
I feel like, or maybe it was just like
no. I think it was a coincidence. I don't know. Maybe this could all be fake news. This could all be
a false
memory.
Fabricated memory. Anyway, I don't know. Like Miles, I named him after Miles Teller.
Oh,
like it's not after him. It's just like he had. I was like, that Miles is a really cool name. Roosevelt's name was actually just Roosevelt. I don't know where I found Roosevelt. I think. I was just thought it was
hipster
cool.
baby name.
And I was like, there's no way, like, if people call their kid Roosevelt, like, that's fine, but I just thought it wouldn't have been common, and so I ended up making that his last name, because I had always joked, like, Alexander would be his name if his name wasn't Roosevelt. So I just made it his last name. And
I think Alex suits him too. So for me, how did you choose your names? So we'll start with Reeve. Reeve had a lot of different names in the beginning. I was 12 looking for her names. So I first named her, first one I think was Lynn or something, but I didn't, like, it didn't feel right, and then I changed her name to Nell, but immediately when I drafted it, I never drafted the novel with her name being Nell, but the next day I had changed it to Reeve, and I don't know where I found it. I didn't feel satisfied with Reeve either, but I was like, honestly, I could not be bothered. I'm just gonna
literally her character
grow on me. So that's a cool name story. Foster has a cool name story. Foster's name is the reason why the plot of the book exists, like the first 3 books. And I had just found it online, and Foster's not that weird of a name. I just thought in conjunction with Reeve Foster Harris, I'm like, I don't know, they're not like Mary and Bob, you know what I mean? So I was like, is this too weird? Sort of justify it in the book. So I think in chapter 2 or 3, I think it's 3.
They try to justify Foster, and then, like, there's Reeve.
I didn't even try to justify Reeve. I thought Foster was weirder. Reeve asks him, like, so Foster, huh? I'm pretty sure that's exactly what she said. And he's like, yeah, it was a nickname given to me by Harrison, because, like, I don't actually have a name. It's, like, because I think this book took place in the future, back when it was very dystopian. It's not dystopian anymore, but he was like, yeah, I don't have a name. I don't know anything, because I'm, like, a foster kid since birth, and, like, I switched foster homes so many times. So then Harrison was, like, when he met Harrison in a foster home when he was, I can't remember, like, 11 or something. And then Harrison was like, you've been in 17 foster homes. I'm just gonna name you Foster. Like, I'm gonna call you Foster since you don't have a name. Did they just call him Boy? Like, boy over there.
If it's since birth, it would have been. You literally did August Rush though, because
his name. Okay, I'll also get into that. Okay. So, Foster. That's where his name comes from. It's a nickname from Harrison. So his birth name isn't that, but I think his birth name is even more ridiculous than Foster, which I'll get into. But yeah, so the series isn't named after him or anything. He's not that important. I feel like Harrison is more important than him. Lonan is more important than him. Darren is more important. I'm so sorry. He's like on the bottom of the His actual name, his birth name is August. And I deadass named him August after August Rush. So August Rush was like a childhood movie that my family and I watched.
And I named my guitar after Foster after August Rush.
Yeah, so.
But, like, in August Rush, that's not his name.
Yeah.
Like, remember, he doesn't have a name, so they gave him, like, a new name in the foster home.
Oh my god, I didn't realize. Oh my god, someone's gonna come for my wig, and I'm lost. And then Harrison's name, literally, he has a nickname, so his nickname is Riss, and I knew when I was writing this book, I wanted a character to be named Riss. And then one day I was going through a list of names.
My list of names!
It wasn't your list. I remember, okay, this might be a fake news memory too, but how I remember, we were in the basement, I was sitting on the couch in front of the TV, and I was, like, on my computer, like, looking for names, and I came across Harrison, and I was like, oh, that's perfect for this character. He's kind of, like, sassy. I like him. So that sounds like the name. And I took it, and then I was like, oh, his nickname could be Riz.
Okay, my memory of this is we were in our bedroom. I was sitting on the bed. We were both sitting on the bed.
I remember it in the basement.
You were looking at my list of names. Or you were looking at a list of names maybe online. And you're like, it was an evening, and you were like, what's a long form of Riz? And then
This sounds like it actually happened.
I think this is the real
my fake
story.
news.
Like, this actually happened, I swear. I either was looking through my list while you were looking through your own list, and I was like, Harrison, because it's on my list.
I kind of remember this. So
I
maybe
have
this
the
is
name
actual-
list. I literally have the name list.
Yeah,
it
she
still
does.
exists on my phone.
She really does.
And it said Harrison, and I was like, Harrison is cool, and then you were like, oh my god, Harrison has wrist in it.
Yeah, okay, maybe
And
that was the memory.
I swear that is how it happened.
That was probably actually what happened. The only other interesting name I have is Lonan, I think. Lonan's name is actually Lonan. Like, he doesn't have an excuse for his weird-ass name. But I love that name, though. Like, I was like, if I ever have a child, I'm gonna curse him by naming him Lonan. Because Lonan is just tragic, like, all over. He's the tragic hero. He's not even a hero. He's just a tragic loser. That's what he is. What's the story behind the titles for your main books? So, Rewired and Drift.
I have no...
So, Rewired, okay, I don't know if I've talked about this. The Foster books are named the first letter. It was supposed to be a trilogy, and I had the three main characters, Reeve, Foster, Harrison, before Lonan actually came to be and was relevant. So, before I just had the three of them. The first letter of the first three books, because it was supposed to be just a trilogy, was supposed to be, like, it was supposed to be the first letters of their names. So, it was supposed to have an R for Reeve, an F for Foster, and an H for Harrison. So, book one, Fostered, I didn't have a name for it until the very end after I'd already finished it. And I was like, oh, Foster, obviously. Ooh. So, obviously, Fostered, F for Foster. And then H, Hunted, was for Harrison. I hate that book title. I hate it so much. I have Resisted for Reeve, which is really similar to Rewired because it's the Re button. And I always accidentally write Rewired instead of Resisted. And that was a mistake, but I don't care. I continued with the verb, past tense verb, because I wanted to name it after them. But then I realized, shit, like, this is no longer a trilogy. And I wanted to name one after Lonan, but I couldn't find a good verb that I liked that started with an L that wasn't, like, loved or something. But now I could just make up a verb. So for Rewired, I just continued with the past tense verb for book 4, 5, and 6. So when I got to Rewired, I thought Rewired was going to be the last book of this goddamn series. For the last book of Fostered, I knew I wanted it to be like a nice tying together kind of a verb. It feels like whole, like Rewired, like it's positive, you know? So that's why I chose it, because Rewired was supposed to be like the rewiring of everything, like everything is tied back together. But then when I was writing Rewired, and I was like, I'm gonna write another book.
Grab my ring, sorry.
Yeah, I was like, well, shit. I can't call it. You have a fat finger. I literally can't get this off of your finger. This doesn't really work because this is not gonna be the last book. I talk about both Foster and Lonan being rewired, like their brains are rewired. Because both Foster and Lonan sort of going through this similar thing together. I don't like the titles. I hate the titles of every single Foster book. That's why I stopped caring with book 7. I was like, change is good. Who cares?
I cannot exactly remember.
I came up with that title for you.
Did you?
I came up with the title.
Okay.
I remember the story.
Okay.
I was like, because
it?
Nell shrinks sort of like as a, like the narrative, not physically, but like as the book progresses, like her personality, it shrinks down even more. So we were going through words, and I can't remember how I found that, but that's how I justified it to Sarah. I was like, Sarah, take my shitty title. I swear. This. I wrote a thesis for why she should.
Yeah. For Wither, I wanted to keep with the plant kind of idea
Shrink?
of like, I don't really know how a plant shrinks. So I went with Wither. Like, it came to me pretty
so
quickly.
dramatic.
Because, like, literally when you search up, like, synonyms for shrink,
Wither
shows up. So, I mean, I hate these titles so much. And then Drift, there's a Daughter song called Drift.
Yeah.
I just saw the word and I was like, oh, that makes a perfect
Yeet,
title because it has
that works.
It has the I in it.
Yeah.
The I sound.
I didn't like Drift, the title. I was like, I didn't like it.
I hate
was like,
all the
Sarah,
titles.
I wanted her to keep with the plant thing, because I was like, plant aesthetic, and then she didn't.
I was thinking like something like Bloom or something. They're all like generic too. Like everyone's book is called.
Exactly. I don't want generic.
There's so many books out there called Shrink and Wither and Drift. Like,
are you nervous about going to college? Recently, I've been thinking like early in the morning, sometimes I just look at myself in the mirror, in this mirror that's right next to me, and I'm like, could I actually be a writing major? Like, can I actually do this? Like, I can barely find enjoyment in what I'm writing right now. Is that gonna be like forever? And definitely I think it's just because I'm very nervous, but also
honesty is real.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna like switch my major if I can actually do this. And that terrifies me because, like, what's the point of moving so far away? Even, like,
we're going
for the program. So I'm like, if it's very nerve-wracking. Like, if it's not like I'm moving close. It's not like I'm driving 4 hours away. Like, I'm moving across the country. And Canada's thick. So sometimes it freaks me out. I'm like, what if I'm not cut out for this?
I'm totally terrified for... I have been in this tough writer's block for maybe 6 months.
Like, I honestly think it's because of school.
Yeah, me too. I think because, you know, in the summer I had so many chapter breakthroughs.
That's true.
And I tend not to be as stressed out, but my brain has just like literally given up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really worried about that. And then on top of that, with workshops, like, I want to be in a different workshop than Rachel. With workshop, we can definitely sign up for different workshops.
Yeah.
I've been saying, like, oh, I'm just going to sign up for a different workshop. And the reason why I say that is because...
being a twin is hard,
It's
guys.
hard, and I'm scared about the comparison. I don't think it's necessarily that I think people would lose their professionalism and be like, oh, yours is worse than... Yeah. But just for me, like... I'd be like, oh, do they think my writing is worse than...
Yeah, and like, for example, Sarah and I handed in stories, like, when we were in our writing class, we handed in stories that were very similar. Like, they had similar elements, similar writing, similar lines. Sometimes we hand in English papers, and they literally have the exact same writing in it, and I'm like, I'm not plagiarizing her. It's just, like, our brains think so similarly that, like... That scares me, like, doing a workshop with Sarah.
The worry. I don't think, like, any...
I don't think the people would be unprofessional about it. I think it's more me. Again, it's not you, it's me.
But I know it's probably not going to be much of a problem.
Yeah. Anything you're excited for in the future besides Cullen? Sarah, are you excited for, like, a family?
I mean, yeah, that. But,
I'm excited to be an aunt.
Honestly, 2 years ago, this was my dream school that I wanted to go to.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we're not going to move there. It's impossible because it's across the country.
And now we're going.
That's what's happening. So, you know, I try not to get too caught up in, like, what I think I can and what what my future is. But
so now we have a whole bunch of questions from our best friend, Ashley. Yes, queen. What is the writing process like for you and Rachel? Specifically, like, for Fostered. And she's talking about, like, our writing nights. So, like, in terms of timeline, when I was in grade 8, I used to, like, start writing at 7 p.m. Like, can you believe that? Now I start writing at around 10:30, to be honest. And I go to bed at around, like, 11:30, maybe. I usually don't get that many words down. I honestly sort of often get very frustrated.
I have not been writing for the last...
Oh, true.
Literally almost like 4 months.
True.
Like, I literally haven't. I usually don't write. So.
How did you both find out that writing was your passion? I was one of those people who was constantly like, I knew I wanted to be a writer since I was a child. Because I didn't. I honestly didn't. Like, thinking back on it, yes, I loved writing. Like, I didn't really know about the passion, to be honest. Sarah just asked one day, like I said, do you want to write a book? And I wrote it, and I've just continued to write since then. It's just kind of been intrinsic, almost.
Yeah, like for me, we always were very story oriented. So I would say I've been a storyteller my whole life, definitely. Which is ironic because I'm a really bad storyteller.
Facts.
But I was always a storyteller from a very young age, and I would daydream all the time. From maybe 11 to 12, I started adding description in my brain.
Oh yes, daydreaming.
I forgot about
we
this,
both used to
but
do that.
So my first project, I'm not even gonna say the title because it's just terrible, but I would have this scene, for example, like at a dinner table or something, and I would describe the plates in my head, so like, or the cutlery or whatever it looked like. I started describing what the textures were like and what it sounded like in first person, like.
Now I definitely know that it's one of my passions because it's something that I've done it for 5 years. Is it weird that you're both going to university for writing? Like, maybe do other people think it's weird? Like, or do you think it's kind of weird that, like, you're doing the same thing?
Oh my God, we were just bitching about when people ask this question. It's just like any other two people choosing writing, I guess.
Yeah. Like, I know when, like, our friend Shaylin was studying writing, that was also really important for me to, like, be like, because she's a very big inspiration and our mom. It was really nice to see somebody with sort of, like, a similar pathway also be, like, really passionate about their degree. Have you ever wanted to be a part? I'm not gonna lie, yes. I've definitely wanted to have more of, like, my own identity, kind of. Because, like I said, for a lot of my life, people sort of grouped us together as like one entity. So wanting to be one, like a separate person, like apart from Sarah, was like really important. Who are your favorite characters?
Oof.
From both of our books. Oh my god, from both of our books.
No, I don't. My favorite character from my books, I love Nell. I never used to really like her, my main character. Like, and now I really understand her personality.
Same.
So I very much, she's very weird. She has her quirks, but it's so natural that it doesn't feel weird. It's just like, oh,
I love her too.
That's just Nell being kind of quirky, kind of strange.
I used to hate her.
And she's, like, not quirky cute. Like, she's actually weird.
Yeah.
And so, you know.
I used to think that Sarah was trying to self-insert herself into Nell, which is just dumb.
And then I love her brother, Oliver. I would say he's my favorite character. And I always miss him the most when I'm not writing with him. So I would say that he's, like, my favorite.
He's hella cool.
He has a very
I would be intimidated.
charming personality. Like, he's so charismatic.
Yeah.
And he can be, like, the biggest ass. And this is not necessarily, like, a good thing either.
Yeah.
But he comes across as so charming and deliberate in everything that he does. Like, he makes all these mistakes, but everything seems so intentional. So he has this very unique personality that I adore. And then I really love Roman is a new character.
Yeah.
He's always been one of my characters, like, for years. Like,
but she recently developed it.
He doesn't have to say anything or even be in the novel to, or in scenes for his presence to kind of
he's
still
like
linger.
Ghost man.
Yeah, he's like a ghost.
Literally, he's like a ghost. I stand him.
I love Miles, too. He has a quite understated personality, but he's very naive, and he's very... He's kind of... He comes across as he, like, knows everything, but he's very naive. He doesn't know basically anything.
That's very true. I've never thought of Miles as naive.
And from your books, I stand me Alonin.
Species.
I love Lonin. He bugs the shit out of me, but
I know. Oh my
he's
god,
so
Sarah.
complex.
Okay, let's not forget. Sarah used to despise
I hated this boy.
Lonin.
Like, we came up with how to kill the kid. Like,
yeah, like if anyone wants to hear about Lonin's supposed death,
obviously Harrison is my inner spirit.
Yeah, Sarah's love for Harrison was
literally
the reason
why
I
wrote
wrote the book.
I feel like if he was real, we'd really get along. He has
he's a sweetheart.
A very great personality. I mean, I've recently really taken a liking to Reeve. But I also adore Foster, like, now for some reason.
Yeah, Sarah's been loving
I've started
Foster
to
lately.
really like him. I mean, I always loved him, but I was always tell this to Rachel, but I don't really care about my character. I don't give a shit. Like, I honestly, like, my characters are fine, but my real life and joy comes out of her characters and her writing. I don't care about mine.
Oh,
and so, like, I was telling her,
love that, but also, like, please love your work too.
I do love it, but, you know, the characters, I was thinking about, like, if they didn't exist in my life, like, just as characters, I don't think my life would not be good.
Favorite characters from your book, like you mentioned, like, I've been loving Hawthorne lately. Ashley and I be beefing about whose man's Hawthorne belongs to. Hawthorne I didn't love in the beginning because he's just, like, kind of like dude bro. Like your classic dude bro.
Yeah.
But, like, lately, yes, I love him. He's very sweet. He's a good best friend. I think he's not annoyingly, like, he's not a protective best friend, but I think he'll call you out on your shit kind of best friend. I also love Nell. Like I said, I didn't really love her in the beginning. She's the protagonist of Sarah's series. I love Roosevelt because I relate. Sarah doesn't really write with Roosevelt anymore because he's kind of been Dolette.
He's been axed.
Roosevelt and I are, like, the same person. We talk very similarly. Like, if y'all want to hear me do a Roosevelt voice, I can do that. Shepard, I used to freak out about every single time he showed up in your book in the beginning, but now I don't really, like, think about him.
Really show up anymore,
Maybe that's why. Oliver, I love too so much. It's the charm, man. He's got that Oliver charm. And like you said, Roman is literally give him to me. Like, he's such a sweetheart. Oh my gosh. Like, he's a taxidermist, dead things. Like, his aesthetic is on point. Sarah has such beautiful
Real,
characters.
like...
They have, like, they're, like, Sarah has, like, aesthetically pleasing characters. My characters are ugly. Like, have you seen them? Favorite characters of mine, I mean, Sarah kind of covered all of the characters that I actually have, but Darren, we didn't mention him, and Darren...
Oh my god!
Get you a man!
Oh my god, get me a man!
Get you a man who is like Darren. The only morally correct character in my entire book, I think, besides Foster. I talk a lot about Lonan. Lonan means a lot to me psychologically. We are very bonded psychologically. That tragic, annoying hero who needs to, like, just go away. Anyway, I love Harrison too, because we get each other. And Foster lately has been just, like, he's everything I want to be. He's ethical in everything he does. He cares about every single being on the planet. Like, he's vegan. Like,
Loves lentils.
He loves lentils. He's a really good chef. Like, he's so sweet. He cares about people on a very deep level. Like, I love him so much, and I didn't care about him that much until recently, and I'm so mean because he's really underrated. What's your favorite ships, like, between us? Lona and Harrison, for a very long time, were just a ship. And I had been shipping them literally since book 3. And I don't know, I feel like I was a very dumb writer. I'm always like, I'm so intuitive with my writing. I'm very intuitive. Actually, I was very dumb. I missed a lot of signals from them that they were literally screaming to me. So my ship has become canon. They're not exactly canon right now, but they will be at some point. Oliver and Roman, I stan so much.
Always shipped Nell and Lonan. I don't know.
So weird. I feel like he would not talk to her.
Yeah, but, like, also that's kind of an aesthetic.
No communication.
Oh god. Nell and Foster we've shipped
before. Nell and Foster. I think now maybe is
Foster
is
definitely
definitely on the A spectrum.
Yeah, on the being on the A spectrum. So.
But yeah, I think they would be really good friends. Like, even friendship ships. Like, yes, we stand that.
Like, I definitely can see them chilling together. For a moment, we shipped Nell and Reeve. But it would more be, like, Reeve taking advantage of Nell.
Yeah, because Reeve does that with every woman in her life.
I mean, besides, like, Harrison and I.
Yeah, Harrison and Sarah. Saracen, we stand. Saronin.
Yeah.
Saronin I love as well. They're a power couple. They will destroy the fucking world. I just ship Sarah with all my characters. I don't really...
Is that kind of
ship? Is that weird? I don't know. Who gets more writing done per night?
Oh, that is 100%
we know the
Rachel. Like, I don't even know why that's a question,
Ashley. When you have writer's block, what do you do?
Cry. I don't do anything. I literally go
cry.
To bed. I'm not kidding.
No. This is true.
I don't deal with writer's
Sarah
block.
does go to bed though.
Like,
that's
go
true.
To sleep.
Sarah goes to bed.
And I just sleep and then I don't write for 4 months.
Sometimes, like, if I can't write one particular project, I'll move on to another one. But usually, I give up very quickly. I'm not gonna lie. Hi guys, so we're back really quick. Just to finish this off, first of all, this is the hair. It looks so good. I love it. Okay, so it'll probably... Sarah made me into an IG baddie because she really wanted to.
I blow-dried it really smooth.
Yeah. We just got a few more questions and also wanted to answer them. So, which one of you started writing first? We kind of both started writing at the same time. Sarah suggested it first, though.
Yeah, which I think we went over.
Yeah. So, like, she was the reason I even started writing.
Do we collaborate?
Yeah, would we ever collaborate on a piece?
Which we want to.
Yeah, we do.
We were actually, like, conceptualizing, like, a fantasy. The fantasy. We were just pulling some of the characters. It was never, like, something that we were gonna write.
Because, like, neither of us
don't really write I don't really read
fantasy
or like
either.
fantasy.
But one day we would like to. Like, Sarah always jokes about wanting to write the Foster series. So maybe, maybe we'll put her on board.
And we want to definitely do, like, little fanfics for each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Where we do, like, crossovers with different characters crossing over.
A crossover, I think, would be a lot of fun.
How do you guys differ in your writing styles and storytelling? Writing styles are quite similar.
Like, mine is very straightforward.
Yeah,
I think to a fault at some point.
Yeah, your prose is just a bit more concise.
Yeah.
And so you state things in a bit more of a straightforward way. And I use a lot of commas.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like sing-songy. In storytelling, Rachel is 10 times, 50 million times better in storytelling than I am. I'm really bad at storytelling, and I'm really trying to practice that before I go study writing, because you probably should know how to write some stories.
Sure. I'm going to also
story.
study more on story structure as well.
So she definitely note takes so much more. I just started doing that.
I have like 60,000 words for Rewired, I think.
Yeah. I've never taken notes before in my entire life.
Yeah. But I think Sarah, like, is really good at sort of creating, like, very complex storylines almost, too.
I'm better at structuring, like, the chapter.
I definitely think she has stronger, like, structure, definitely chapter-wise. I would agree with that. Hi, guys. So we're back for, like, one last development. First, to show you my hair in the light. This looks so good and natural, too. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate to what it looks like. We have some last questions from Shaylin that she asked. How many books do you think the Fostered/Shrink series will be? That is a really good question. I'm not sure how long it's gonna go. Like, I would like to say that I'll just keep writing it until, like, you know, I just don't feel like it. So there wouldn't really be a definitive number of books. But at this point, I'm getting kind of fed up with the series. But I really like the characters and how I've developed them. And for me, I have a feeling that when I start university, I'm probably gonna, like, accidentally completely forget about Foster. A strong feeling that it probably will end after this next book. But I've been saying that for 4 books. Yeah. Do you think you'll ever publish a book or story in those universes or with those characters? Ooh, so with the characters, I think so. Some of the passages I really wouldn't mind using in short stories. Like, I've already done that definitely. A couple times. Definitely already stealing my work for, like, for yeah, but with the characters, like, no doubt, if I've already transferred Oliver and Nell into a short story that I wrote for class. That's true. But they all kind of, they merge into their own character. Definitely. Do you have plans for future novels outside those series? And that's like big I know we were talking about this earlier on in the video, but no. I don't have anything in the works, but I do plan on writing others. So in the future, for sure, definitely. Do you find any weird similarities between your work that weren't planned? Yeah, I think I said something like this earlier on in the video, where, like, sometimes for, like, English papers, we hand in the exact same sentence, and, like, we had no idea. So that happens a lot. But for fiction, definitely, like, themes, characters, like, just arcs in general. Sometimes the plot gets wackily similar, which kind of sucks, because, like, whoever's the second person to get published off. I would say, like, definitely the characters, like, we've had our characters do very similar. Yeah. They're never, like, the exact same. They're just, they overlap sometimes. Yeah, exactly. So it's not like word for word plagiarism. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Follow Sarah. I'll put all of her information down below. And if you want more videos with us, let me know what you'd like to see. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Bye. St. Christopher, to find your sister, she ran out.